As you hear some of the public need to be, I think there's we need to make sure that we are taking care of our for your continued fight. Thank you for holding us accountable. I think it's the right thing to do.
Congratulations to MEA and all of the city employees who have shown such excellence in leadership to joining a union. And thank you, excellence in leadership to joining a union. And thank you for that they need. And so it's been just a win-win all around. But thank you for fighting that extremely long legal battle, because that also helped protect other employees in other municipalities attack. So they had no benefits, little voice in their workplace. Overtime was not even mentioned as a possibility. But it was the union who secured health, dental, vision, and life insurance. And when the bank collapsed, shortly after the 1929 stock market crash, it was MEA members who created their own credit union, pooling together their membership dues to provide loans to other members to get through their financial crisis. I mean, that's an incredible history that MEA has. So today we are very thankful to the people who make our city work every day, from our parks and recreation directors who create safe, welcome residents with new portals to education opportunity, to our planners and engineers who help shape our communities, even predating the Stonewall riots. It was here in the Sergeant Dan Meyer, who was one of our LGBTQ liaison officers, and he had the courage to go to then Police Chief Stella Zimmerman and say, she made herself so proud the same day we can help reverse that history and making sure that trans people are treated. I wanted to join City Attorney for her professionalism, attention to detail, and commitment to public. Coming up in the City Attorney's office, you also helped navigate us through the challenge. And
All right, thank you, Councilmember Lowell. First, and turn it over to our city attorney for a few words.
thank you so much. First, it's my privilege to congratulate MEA on 100 years of service and thank their leadership for all their hard work on behalf of the city and its employees, including the more than 200 MEA represented employees. But today, it is my honor to celebrate the career and service of one of those dedicated MEA members and a key member of our team at the City Attorney's Office, Cindy McNary. Since 1985, Cindy has been a steady, positive force in so many departments in the city, spending, I think, most of her time with the city attorney online as well, so we could make sure the city kept running smoothly. I will never forget calling Cindy. Will be missed. We're so excited about your retirement plans, and we know our deputy city clerks, our legislative recorders, and all of our office to ensure spreads through all, continuing to work with our office, which I will call the McNary Manual from here forth, because your knowledge, dedication manual from here forth, because your knowledge, dedication, and attention.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you to my colleague, our Municipal Employees Association on anniversary day. I'm going to focus a little bit more on why having a city that has a long history of building up the result of city workers and not the result of poor leadership or dishonesty by politicians. You all have been in a very, very tough spot for a very long time. And despite that, have never flinched in this. So thank you for everything you do and have done. Deeply appreciative for all of you. I'll now transition to our next proclamation, item 31, Transgender History Month. Thank you to my colleagues and Mayor Gloria for bringing this one forward. I'm very proud to support the proclamation. I want to say thank you to our transgender community for your courage, your resilience, your creativity, and the inspiration you provide to everyone to be our full authentic selves. There's also a chance here to honor to recognize that gender diversity is not new to San Diego. Dr. Jen, you said it very well. To our transgender community, we see you.
The hard work that MEA does, those who sat on this very dais, and also by the media, they denigrated.
My apologies, Councilmember Campbell, we'll look at it over the recess. My apologies, Councilmember Campbell, we'll look at it over the recess. Would you like to let me know your? Yes, I vote yes. That does pass unanimously, 8-0, with Councilmember Campillo absent. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you. With that, we will now pause for photos. Join us.
let me run upstairs, but now I'm just like, yeah.
Council business. And proceed with the approval of the consent items, with the exception of item 55, which I will be pulling from the consent agenda to be heard later this morning after our morning discussion, item 3:30. So again, item 50 will be heard after discussion, item 3:30. Request to pull item 5. Clerk, please proceed with public comment on the consent items.
Thank you, Council President. Please note each speaker will have 1 minute per item per person. If you would like to speak on 3 or more items, you will have a maximum of 3 minutes. Those participating virtually that are part of an organized presentation should raise their hand in the virtual queue at this time. The consent agenda includes items 10, 50 through 62, minus item 55 that was pulled, 100 through 112. We received comments on items 54 to opposed via our e-comment form, which have been distributed to the council. Also, let me note for the record the potential appointments that are on the agenda this morning. Item 112 is the potential appointment of Kay Hobson and reappointment. That'd be great. Please proceed.
Good morning, Councilmen and women. Thank you for letting me speak upon for you today. I'm speaking on these agenda items, and they are amendments. And prior to recess, I spoke how important amendments are, and I spoke upon the importance of amending the 27 budget, is what I was referring to of amending. And why I'm here before you today is to consider amending the 27 budget to include the Neil Jacobs Center's funding as a homeless resource center.
Sir, we're only asking you to speak on the 3 items that you identified. You can talk about it on agenda public comment on budget requests.
Okay, so I'm speaking upon amendments. And
You need to speak specifically to the 3 items that you identified,
okay,
not just the
speak
general
upon
amendment.
non-agenda public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, to oversee cybersecurity policies and control that govern the security management. Thank you so much. 51, yes, to approve the 4th Amendment between the City and San Diego Futures Foundation to provide accessible community-based digital skills training through the Digital Literacy Program. Yes, reach out, lift up everyone to ride the fast train into our new world. Evolution for all. Number 52, yes to RevTrak. Director Benke, we have the back of IT. Please keep the public in the info loop of IT's, excuse me, I did this very fast late last week. We need the realness of all of you IT, the realness. Please help us stay focused. 58, yes to the 6th Amendment cooperative procurement contract with Railroad Pacific Company for waste carts, cycling carts, and so forth. A big yes to Kirby Brady. Excuse me. And the rest of the Environmental Services Department team. 61, yes to the Office of the City Clerk for electric filing system with Pasadena Consulting Group. We'll help you as much as we can, City Clerk. We love all of you. And lastly, number 111, dear Office of the City Attorney people, $40 million settlement. It's hard for me to speak. Please help the public see through the clouds of litigation so we can understand the edge of the risks that shape our decisions. These decisions are for one people, one family, and one San Diego. It's been a great morning, hasn't it? Isn't this a great life? I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Love you all.
Thank Okay, next is allegedly Audra. You'll be speaking on items 54, 56, 58, 59, 104 to 1. Nothing, just, we're using it, right? So crazy. Yes, so for 56 in this zone, the I think instead of having employees being exempt from parking, we should actually charge more. You know, because you guys get your city trucks. And then let's see, 58. This is interesting. You guys always love exceeding your not to exceed contract dollars and go up to 106. And it still says not to exceed, right? I mean, it's probably going to go up to 500. Who knows? Because you guys are already getting, you know, 129 million, 600,000 just from the fees that you guys are giving people, and you're putting these RFID chips in there, which is real interesting, so that people can have their, you know, trash tracked and traced, and you know, have a GPS location, exact time, you know, so if you want to go in there and see what's in their trash. And I'm wondering if you guys are going to do weight tracking, which allows for a weight-based fee. I'm sure that will come at some point. But this is very terrifying as we are collecting everybody's data, and we have all of this surveillance, and this goes all the way up to the people like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, JP Morgan, you know, all the people that you guys love so much. And then with 59, I'm wondering, you know, with the school board districts, and this is for elections, but I'm wondering if you can change the municipal code for the school to ensure that pedophiles don't get hired. Because what Scott Wiener is attempting to do is to allow pedophiles to work in any kind of, like up here, it could be in a school board, right? Not a rapist, not somebody who rapes like, you know, teachers' aides and stuff like that, and we're not ensuring that children are not getting, like you're trusting them with people that you probably should, and maybe should do more about that. Thank you for that concluding comment. Isabel Kay, you're speaking on items 9, so you'll have 2 minutes, please.
Good morning, Council President, Council members and staff. I wasn't actually planning to be here at all today. I'm just a resident of La Jolla Terrace, item number 109, and apparently our attorneys have settled with you for $10 million to rebuild 12 units that were unnecessarily damaged and red tagged and have to be torn down because you didn't act in time to prevent Orion from just letting our slope slide and damage all those buildings. And now it's been 3 years when people have had you stopped supporting the poor residents of those buildings or the people who rented them out, and it's really been a mess, and I don't think $10 million is enough. And what are we going to do if it costs more? However, I was looking through the agenda. You are going to go ahead and acquire more military hardware. There's no cost associated with homelessness. After, then the budget crisis here is a common sense crisis among you decision makers, and an empathy and integrity crisis, to be very honest. Look at what is going on. You are, you know, funding for AMPRs and military weapons. Thank you.
Statement. Paul Kruger, you can please come forward. 56, 58, 104 to 111. You'll have 3 minutes. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. I wanted first on item 56, which is the record keeping, housekeeping for the parking meter zones. I urge all of you, when you are reviewing the installation of parking meters in residential areas, to please listen to the businesses and the residents in those areas who would not, for example, in my area of Chalmers, Kensington, would not strongly oppose a reasonable meter times and rates of, say, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those meters are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and for Wilford opposed this last time. Assuming that you will oppose it this time, could you please once again explain why? On this, I was sitting in the audience after I asked you to please give more consideration to how did this contract become $106 million? And I was approached unsolicited by a fellow who identified himself as an employee of the Treasurer's Department and said, you need to keep looking at this. I'm not looking at it, I don't have the expertise, but what does that say about what's going on with this expenditure? And I would urge you in your roles as council members, if the mayor is not going to take the initiative to review this, please, there's something going on here, I think. And then lastly, the settlements. It's more than $57 million in settlements in these items, 104 to 111. And some of them, at least 7 legality, $40 million for the water rates, $10 million for the broken water main that caused the flooding. Something is wrong here when we end up as taxpayers having to pay these huge settlements, $56 million, and we're down approving the sort of jury verdicts. We need to do more about this. Thank you very much.
Lori Saldana, if you can please come forward. You're speaking on 51, 54, 62, 100, 108, and 109. You'll have 3 minutes, please proceed.
Yes, first of all, I would say we just spent over an hour or an hour on proclamations, and we have less time to deal with 27 items, maybe 1 or 2 less. So I personally find this practice, even though I litigated on proclamations nearly 10 years ago, to have them take place in chambers, this is not a way to have substantive discussion. And all of you sitting there, if you really believe, as you made a statement about valuing public comment, you're not giving us much time to do that. So I don't know what the value actually is. I have indicated several items here. On 51, the return on investment of digital literacy is extremely high, so I absolutely support that. In contrast, items are citizens with higher and higher grades. To say that there is no reasonable alternative for public safety is just frankly impossible to believe. There are alternatives, and you're going to see more and more litigation. Police officers, if there is such a thing, some of this equipment. One of the items here to the afternoon, jumping ahead, I put in a slip for item 62, sole source contract for emergency storm drain projects. Our coastal bluffs are eroding, and we're about to see a massive El Nino cycle continue that erosion. I remember in the 1980s, I was working up and we would Crystal Pier fall to pieces, and we are about to watch a similar thing with our coastal bluffs. So these damages we are seeing are about to happen again in real time, and these emergency repairs are insufficient. And related to that, why are we giving SDG&E an amendment to expand capacity around the Mission Bay, San Diego River area, across from where Midway is being proposed, Midway development? Is it related to that? Or to expand by thousands of square feet of their easement so that they can move things into drier ground. Running out of time here, let me just say Isabel Kay has been out of her home, the woman who just spoke, again because the city is not doing enough on stormwaters, and I will speak more to that in non-agenda comment. Thank you.
And Ms. Lasagna, we did not receive a speaker slip from you for 55, which was trailed to after 3:31 this morning. So if you would like to speak on that item, please be sure to submit a speaker slip.
Thank you.
We'll go to those participating online, starting with Blair Beekman. If you can please let me know which item or items you wish to speak to.
Hi, Blair Beekman. I wanted to speak to items 54 51, 54, and I wanted to speak to 55, but it's not going to be, it's going to be pulled and talked to later, so I can just speak to it at that time. So I guess the other item I would like to possibly speak on, but I may not have a lot to say, is the item 62.
You'll have 3 minutes, please proceed.
Thank you. To speak first to item 51, this was an item that was the digital literacy program. It was brought to committee a few months ago now. It seemed like interested in it. I think that as this item has a certain way to be working towards digital literacy goals of describing, open accountable practices, how a person can be a part of the process of technology future, to describe the civil rights and civil protection ideas. It builds our ideas of good community practices, of being a good citizen. I think everyone gets enthused and excited when they're able to talk about their own civil rights and constitution. For 81, just to quickly comment, I felt that Councilperson Foster brought up a really good point in the previous months that SDPD is a bit skimping on how they practice their open public meeting process. They technically may not have, and they were skimping. That was clear on how to talk to the public and be accessible in their technology practices. So they had a good meeting in July, I heard. Good luck with that. It has to be very, very clear how we do our things with technology in the future. You can't just skim around it and say you're getting away with it. It has to be a real earnest effort that we're building a future of openness and accountability for ourselves as a full committee process and not just for a select few. It's important to learn that. We've got to keep learning that, and that's how we build, that helps build our better sustainable future. And to quickly offer item 62, I wish I had more to say. I should have 52 and 61.
You'll have 2 minutes, please proceed.
Both of these are an electronic environment, but do these factors will serve all of the people? I have to ask this because I continually see this city giving contracts to businesses who fail to provide services to significant segments of our population. For example, the city clerk now uses a business at seamlessdocs.com, where citizens can upload their media files for this council. But the seamlessdocs.com website does not work with all web browsers. So I contacted the city about it, and I was told just this morning that the quote-unquote supported browsers for Seamless Docs forms are only the current versions of the major browsers. So anyone with older browsers may not be able to upload media files for presentations to this council. Those people apparently don't matter. Let me ask, would it be appropriate for the city's parking meters to only allow parking of cars built since 2020? Would it be appropriate for the city to only accept phone calls from telephones built since 2023? Would it be appropriate for the city to only accept email from software written since 2025? Of course not. Yet that's what some of your contractors are effectively doing right now under your authority. This city must realize that private businesses have agendas that are not 100% compatible with the public good. Of the people to ensure that all contracts with private businesses guarantee that all of the people are equally served. But you are failing that duty with so many of your contracts, from Seamless Docs to the Dwyer Court concession. Shame on each of you for being either too lazy or too corrupt to ensure that your contractors serve all the people. No thank you.
Next is Amanda, if you can please unmute and let me know which item or items you wish to speak to.
Yeah, good morning. I have 3 items I wanted to speak to, 53, 54, and 58.
Please proceed in about 3 minutes.
Okay, thanks. First, I just wanted to say how in light duty, so it looks like we're going to do another $40 million on top of that. Everyone driving around sees all these brand new cars driving around everywhere, and you're telling us we have a huge budget deficit. It's really silly. Like, I wouldn't be buying a brand new car if if I need to replumb my entire house. And so I just wanted to say that. I also couldn't find any documentation regarding the competitive bidding process for, I think it's 72-hour LLC DBA National Authorization Fleet Group. I saw online said that October 5th, 2016, based on the results of the competitive process, Miami-Dade County, the administrating agent on behalf of U.S. communities, blah, 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 entered into a contract with Red Ray Pacific. Oh, sorry, that's down a bit. Okay, sorry, running out of time. Item 54. We're here praising unions and the power of unions and MEA and good work and thank goodness for unions, while we're militarizing the SPPD, who would have prevented from us from having a program.
There are 2 speakers in the queue, no additional speakers.
In the last 5 years, who is directly associated with. These are the things that we do business with big things. I don't care if they're big things, big business that are associated with people that are directly harming our country, the world, children, and we're still doing contracts with this bank. So to me, that just pushes everything forward. And living in this inverted world, it's crazy to me. I don't see how nobody is questioning how that still happens. This is why we're in this problem. Because we're associating and making it, when we do business with them, then we're saying it's okay that they do these things, in my opinion. 54, oh man, see, it goes fast. This.
And it's always more difficult.
We can hear you, please proceed.
Very useful to the public. In my case, as I was reviewing 58 and 104 in particular, that when you receive the agenda through the calendar, you cannot use the link to open them directly so that you can read the staff report. One way this could help us, other than solving the big problem, is in a small problem, is if you could give us just a little bit more information. For example, I'm speaking to these out of order, I apologize, to item 104, Apple, I guess that's somebody's idea of fixing it. But if you could put more information about what that arrest was and how much $3 million to go to the contract regarding our cooperative procurement at Reaver Pacific Company. Man, $3 million, and we were worried about our public restrooms. There's some sort of disconnect there. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment on the consent agenda.
All right, thank you, City Clerk. And with that, we'll turn it over to my council colleagues for questions, comments, entertain a motion. We'll start with Council Member Campbell.
Thank you, Doug.
Oh, my apologies, I didn't.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be very brief. I would like to speak on item 11. Kay Hobson will be appointed to the Consolidated Plan Advisory Board. Kay is currently retired, but prior to that, she served as Director of Finance for the County of San Diego. And after nearly 10 years of serving at that, she also volunteers on the Arts District Liberty Station Board of Directors. Kay earned her Bachelor of Arts from the University of Texas in Austin and a professional certificate in accounting from UC San Diego. Given her background in finance and government, I believe Kay Hobson would be a great addition to the board, and I so appreciate her willingness to serve. Thank you.
Okay. Next to Councilmember Moreno.
Thank you. I have comments on item 53, the finance and equipment. I'd like to register a no vote on item 53.
And we'll go next to Councilmember Von Wilbur.
Thank you. I also would like to register a no vote on items 53 and 58. 55 is full, right? The new RFP. So all of the new trash bins that the city purchased were equipped with RFID chips, but now we can't read them, the trash trucks can't read the chips.
The plan has always been to do a pilot to buy the actual hardware. To answer your question, yes. All of the containers come standard with the tags themselves to scan them. And we did a pilot on one technology. The detection rate wasn't high enough, and if successful, would give us the.
I'm guessing this goes to the environment committee.
Look likely we would begin with environmental committee first, correct?
I will leave that to the chair to decide what to do, but I would request a memo to know how the additional money we're spending on new RFID pilot programs actually works out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, and I'll still be putting on this item. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Von Wilbur. And we'll go next to Councilmember Elo Rivera.
Thank you so much, Council President. I just wanted to make sure that I register a no vote on item 54. As I mentioned in the past, I have concerns about a few of the pieces of military equipment that are included in this action, specifically, or maybe most notably, flashbangs, which, while less lethal, are still dangerous and have injured, maimed, or killed people in the past. So understand that within this action there are some pieces of equipment that are quite regular in their use. However, I have concerns about others, and so I will be casting another no vote for that reason. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Elo Rivera. We'll go next to Councilmember Foster.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would just like to quickly register a no vote for item 54, item 58, and item 111. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
All right. And did you catch that, City Clerk?
No vote on item 54, item 58, and item 111.
I missed the first one. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. Not seeing anybody else on the lights. When putting these docket materials in front of us. And I also would encourage you to look at the current version of the Brown Act, which asks people to have less public comment on consent items. I continue our traditional practice that whether it's a second reading, whether it's been heard at committee, whether it's been heard at committee, whether it's been heard at city council, to continue to add that to the consent items, so that there's another one more opportunity for the public and for council members to weigh in. So Brown Act mentioned a couple of comments about the settlement items, so I have to be careful because they were settlement items. But on the path item, interfacing with the public and maybe suffering the wrath of the public on decisions that we have made here at City Hall. And I always try to be aware and sensitive to that, which is one of the reasons I'm inappropriately close to setbacks had been respected. It could have been a much different story. That proximity here is that much more expensive. So as a registered civil engineer, I want to emphasize design standards matter. And every time we take a shortcut or let somebody get away with something that leaves both the city and the taxpayer in the future. And when that doesn't happen, we should consider ourselves very lucky. We have a motion by Councilmember Campbell and a second by the balance of the consent. Clerk, please call the roll.
I'm sorry, the voting system, please cast your vote. And that District 5 and 8 voted no on 53.
All right, thank you, City Clerk, and thank you for paying close attention to those no's on the consent items to make sure we get just right. All right, so at this moment in the docket, do we have any comment from the mayoral office, council member, city attorney, and budget analyst, or city clerk? And I see council member Von Wilbert on the line.
Yes, thank you. I'm guessing everybody has seen the news alerts that one of our American heroes has just passed on. Dolly Parton just died at 80 years old, and I want to thank her for an incredible musicianship, her journey, all
right, thank you for that. We will now proceed with the discussion agenda. As a reminder, we will hear item 330 first, and then item 55, which was pulled from the consent agenda this morning. So with that, clerk, please.
And affirming the city of San Diego.
All right, thank you. So, the council member.
And City of San Diego's commitment to academic freedom and to the tens of thousands of students who call the strongest higher education and research communities across the country. Our universities, colleges, and research institutions educate the next generation, drive innovation, support thousands of jobs, and advance research that improves the lives here in San Diego and around the world. The federal landscape surrounding higher education continues to create uncertainty for institutions across our region here at home. The campaign by the federal Trump administration to exert pressure on our higher education institutions and reshape federal policy affecting our universities and colleges is creating turmoil across our institutions. When institutions face uncertainty about funding and federal policy, it can affect their ability to plan for the future, recruit and retain talented faculty and researchers, and maintain important programs to support our students. Trump has raised serious concerns regarding his pressure to exert political interference in higher education institutions through his threats to withhold federal funding depending on whom the institution supports and accepts. His attacks on diversity, equity, our LGBTQ community, all of our Hispanic-serving institutions, and more shows that he is willing to use his political bully pulpit as a cudgel against our students. Restrictions on academic and scientific research, suppression of student speech and lawful protests, and policies targeting our transgender and international
colleges and research institutions remain strong, independent. San Diego is home to one of the most diverse and impactful higher education ecosystems in the state of California. Across our city and region, academic institutions and internationally recognized research centers play a vital role in shaping our economy, competitiveness, and future growth of the city of San Diego. Recent federal funding cuts, grant freezes, and legal challenges have created significant uncertainty for educational institutions across the San Diego region. Medical research, scientific innovation, public health studies, and workforce development programs. Reports indicate the university losses ranging from tens to hundreds of millions of dollars annually, forcing hiring freezes, delaying critical research and construction projects, and reduction in graduate education and research opportunities. The uncertainty itself has created instability, making it more difficult for universities to recruit researchers, retain talent, plan long-term projects, and continue major scientific initiatives that benefit the public. Federal support programs also play a major role in expanding educational access and opportunities for underserved communities throughout the San Diego region, such as Hispanic-serving institutions, otherwise known as HSI, which funding supports counseling services, tutoring, workforce training, academic support programs, cultural resource centers, and first-generation student success initiatives to higher education. Reduction or instability in these funding streams could disproportionately impact first-generation and historically across San Diego.
The impact of this uncertainty
not abstract. It is local and immediate. Institutions rely heavily on federal research grants and student support funding. Even the perception of instability can disrupt long-term research planning, hiring, and student services. If funding is reduced or conditioned on political criteria, the consequences include reduced access to academic support for first-generation and low-income students, cuts to counseling, tutoring, and research capacity in key academic and research fields such as medicine and engineering, increased strain on local workforce development pipelines. These attacks are not unique to San Diego. Other California jurisdictions have already taken formal action to address concerns in education. The City of Los Angeles and the City and County of San Francisco have both adopted institutional independence and constitutional protection. Resolutions emphasize that higher education institutions should be governed by academic and scientific standards. At the state and national level, there is also admission programs, campus speech, and research autonomy. San Diego now has the opportunity to align with these principles and reaffirm its commitment to protecting its own higher education ecosystem. The resolution before you would formally affirm the City of San Diego's commitment to protecting academic freedom, institutional independence, scientific integrity, diversity, equity, inclusion, free speech, and the rights of students, faculty, and staff. It also formally condemns political interference in higher education when such actions are used to restrict funding or influence academic decision-making based on ideological grounds. Importantly, this resolution also directs the city clerk to transmit this action to key stakeholders, including the Governor of California, California's congressional delegation, leadership of the UC, CSU, and community college systems, and local. This ensures that San Diego's position is clearly communicated and aligned with broader statewide efforts to protect higher education. Safeguarding scientific.
All right, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. Joyce Miata. Jonathan, if you could please. As noted on the agenda, 1 minute per person.
This is a great one, isn't it? It's just a great one. You have my total support on this. Higher education takes us higher. Higher education. I just absolutely love higher education. I went very late in life, about 40, was the first one in my family on both sides to get their bachelor's degree. So you've got my support. My 4 likes are protecting academic freedom, scientific research, diversity, constitutional rights, and institutional dependence. Therefore, these. Thank you so very much, and big support. I'm a cheerleader on this. Thank you, love to all.
Jonathan Burgos.
Good morning, Council President and Council members. My name is Jonathan Burgos, Executive Director of Urshan Scholars and proud San Diego resident, and I'm here in support of Resolution Item 330. For the 1,000 first-gen low-income students that we serve who are currently in college, higher education is more than a degree. It's a pathway to economic mobility. This fall, students who are the first in their families to go to college from our program are heading to Columbia, Cornell, UPenn, Caltech, and Tudor Harvard on full rides. Locally, we have over 200 students attending UCSD and over 100 going to San Diego State.
Lori Saldana, if you can please come forward. And then our last speaker in chambers would be allegedly Audra. Please proceed.
Thank you for introducing this. This is important not only to support faculty and researchers, but remember Department of Education and Higher Education, Title IX. This is where women and non-traditional students have access to equal opportunity because of federal legislation 50 years ago. And we really still haven't caught up in many ways, although women are now exceeding men in our universities and colleges enrollment, and maybe that's what's driving this. San Diego State has the oldest women's studies department in the country. I taught there many years ago, and I will tell you that we were seeing then cuts and pushbacks against occupations where women tend to enter. So make no mistake, this is a systemic attack, not just against the current researchers and academics and faculty members. It is also students, especially diverse students, who are seeking simply the same opportunities that previous generations of Americans have had in higher education. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Allegedly.
I actually think we should defund education. It's not education, it's indoctrination. The Rockefeller slave system. Do you guys know anything about the Rockefellers? You should probably educate yourselves because you guys care about Trump. And it's like he's so minuscule compared to these billionaires that are running everything. I mean, they created the medical system. And it's like, you don't go in there and learn. I mean, we have things that are fictitious that they're learning, like that a man can be a woman. That's like basics. And we're teaching people that. We're redefining what things are. So it's disturbing because it is, you know, you have to control the people by, you know, dumbing down society. Kids can't even read and write when they go to school, but they sure know what genders are. They sure know how to have incest. And it's like, it's just sad because, you know, it has been weaponized. And it's unfortunate.
I'm sorry, the 5-minute timer for one of those participating remotely. We currently have 7 speakers in the queue. Hector, if you can please unmute, you'll have 1 minute. Please proceed.
I agree with what you said, Matt. Now the student guys got to start paying on student loans. The school system's enslaving the young guys. Wait till they get out of there with $100,000 student loan for 40 years, 20 years. That's when it's getting real. Those guys are enslaving them. At UCSD, they just built those 2 new high-rises, and you can't get out the window. The windows just crack. Because they don't want kids, when they figure out they're going to be in debt for $150,000, and they're going to start making $30 an hour, they're going to jump. They don't want them to jump, so they put no balconies in there.
Hi, so I'd also like to support the important principles behind item 330. Academic freedom, independent research, and the ability of scientists and universities to follow the evidence wherever it leads. As the wife of a San Diego State University professor, I support freedom in academic research and want the transparency of scientific principles to be the foundation of how we make decisions for our families and for our city. I want the policies affecting children to be based on the best available evidence, not just on political ideology. Public health research was mentioned multiple times in the staff presentation, and I spent a lot of time speaking to this council about youth substance use. And there's a reason that I emphasize research. When it comes to these public health concerns, we need researchers to be free to study these issues honestly and report what they find. So I encourage the council to affirm the importance of independent higher education and scientific research and academic freedom that can help us make decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen Lippert. If you can please unmute. Kevin, there you go.
Thank you. This is Kathleen Lippert. On those schools, I'd like to share some data and troubling findings from Cal Matters regarding mission was to spend more money, but the latest spending was $2,000 above the national average, with local taxes and federal spending increased to $17,000 per student. And Newsom's latest budget, it would raise the student spending to $27,000.
Your time has been concluded. Blair Beekman, if you can please unmute.
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman, thanks a lot for the efforts on this item. For every idea that the current Trump administration has, I mean, a couple of them can actually be helpful and interesting. There's several others that is just the absolute idea of misery. It's really sad, and you're taking your time here to try to work out ways to mitigate that misery. It'll be so good when he is gone and we can deal with Republican Party candidates that are working more within, California structures and ideas. I think we'll understand a better world that way. Simple as that. And give credit to, to be honest, our Democratic Party has gone a little off the rails and a little large. Good luck how we bring back a conversation where we're all included and contributing. And from that place, I think the decisions here today are
Time has concluded. Jackson Williams.
Hello, I'm Jackson Williams, a undergraduate student at UCSD. I'm studying political science, and I'm here to urge you to support this resolution condemning the Trump administration. As a UCSD student, I've watched this unfold in real time, as my university is under federal investigation for our medical school admission practices. We've seen research funding frozen, international student visas revoked, and federal pressure on administrators to eliminate programs or face financial retaliation. This is an abstract policy. It affects my education, my classmates, and my future. But more importantly, these attacks threaten the principles universities are supposed to stand for, that being academic freedom, the free exchange of ideas, and equal access to education. When the federal government uses funding as a weapon to control what universities teach and who they admit, we all lose. Our city depends on UCSD's research and innovation, and I urge...
Speaking to this item, I am in support of this item, but I do feel like at a certain point it's sort of a pointless Trump administration from being able to be productive. It's kind of on not actually following through with that with solid action from being enacted by the federal government, and that's reflected in our.
Thank you. That concludes your.
And just like the UCSD student that spoke earlier, last year I had 2 students, and I work with a small slice that had to self-support, and I've had all the time students are telling me that they're getting their grant for. So my suggestions, I wrote space for collaboration.
Please proceed.
This item speaks of diversity and of affirming the city's commitment to protecting academic freedom, institutional independence, scientific research, freedom of speech, and so on. That all sounds good, but it's a lie. There is no freedom of speech in these institutions. There's only freedom of one point of view. I know this from personal experience. I worked at Salk Institute in La Jolla for nearly a decade. I had an excellent work record and all excellent reviews. But during the George Floyd mass insanity, I lost my job because I dared to say that, quote, good lives matter most. My statement wasn't out of the blue. The discussion of George Floyd and BLM was initiated by Salk's own Society of Research Fellows. They sent a broadcast email to all employees supporting the BLM movement and finding that George Floyd was killed due to institutional racism, which had never been proven. The SRF letter was followed by extremist opinion, and I was fired for that opinion.
This is all by design. One administration. This is all by design. One administration comes in, sets us up. Then the next administration comes.
Good afternoon. Wanted to share some thoughts regarding. They're sort of uncomfortable for me. I heavily support all higher education, and I'm well acquainted with San Diego State, UCSD, and our wonderful community college system, and I have grandchildren in all those schools and many other California supported schools throughout California. I am concerned about the capacity for the diversity of opinions to flourish on our campuses. And this does seem like bashing Trump doesn't get us there. A more healthy dialogue could occur regarding what we'd like to see for our students on campus. Are they really getting the full world view of what's going out there? I'm concerned about the optics of this particular proposal. Is it in all of our best interest to help our students by this type of resolution? Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment on this item.
Thank you, City Clerk. I'll turn it over to my colleagues. Please be aware of the time. We have a couple of items that we need to take care of before we break for the lunch recess, and we'll go to Councilmember Barnes.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to make the motion to approve this resolution. Staff, all the work you've done on this. A headline came out with Cal Matters that says, Trump cites California LGBTQ plus centers to justify major remarks. From February 26, 2026, EdSource, a national paper on education, claimed that Trump administration, Congress leave Hispanic service because he wanted to cut so much of the HSI grants that were canceled simply because they had the word Hispanic serving in their name. This is here in San Diego. Earlier this year, we held a press conference to raise awareness of this, and I was proud to be joined at a press conference announcing this resolution by Ricardo Miranda, the Vice President of External Affairs for Associated Students at UC San Diego, Chancellor Gregory Smith of the San Diego Community College District, our community college presidents and members of the boards of trustees, and students who are facing these academic pressures from our federal government on a daily basis. I especially want to recognize Chancellor Smith for his leadership when the federal grants supporting certain student success initiatives were no longer available due to the discrimination in the federal government. The San Diego Community College District stepped up and reallocated funding to help continue programs supporting STEM students from historically underserved communities. I would also like to thank and recognize Jonathan Burgos for being here today. Thank you for coming down from your son's admission weekend to UCLA. It's very exciting that he's going to UCLA. Who is the founder and director of First Gen Scholars, for your leadership and commitment to supporting our first generation students throughout San Diego. First Gen Scholars was created specifically to address college acceptance, retention, and graduation among some of San Diego's most underserved communities. And Jonathan, your work is exactly why investments in these programs matter. As you said, they become some of the best workforce retention grants and agreements we can have. Thank you for getting the next generation of workers ready to serve San Diego. Guidance through mentorships community, and describe this organization as helping first generation incredibly complex college admission process, financial aid, and they ultimately go on to graduate oftentimes without student debt. The federal government has moved to eliminate funding for several minority institution programs, which will increase the student debt load on many, many students here. So this resolution sends a clear message. San Diego values academic freedom, scientific integrity, institutional independence, free speech, and the ability of our institutions to pursue education and research based on expertise, evidence, and professional standards. By standing up for higher education, we are standing up for our students, our workforce, our economy, our government, and our democracy. I respectfully ask for your support for this resolution. Thank you, and that concludes my motion.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Also, we have a motion by Councilmember Von Wolfert to move the resolution. We'll go next to Councilmember Whitmer.
Thank you very much, Council President. I have a lot I could say about the Trump administration's approach to higher education, but given the hour, I will thank Councilmember Von Wolfert and her team for bringing this forward, and I will second the motion.
All right, thank you, sir. So we have a motion by Councilmember Von Wolfert and a second by Councilmember Whitmer. Seeing no one else in the lights, clerk, please call the roll.
That's right. The voting system, please cast your vote. That passes unanimously 7-0 with Councilmember Campillo and Councilmember Foster absent. Thank you, Council President.
All right. As promised to one of the public, Council President 5, which was, and we will take that item first. And we will take all of the non-agenda public comment for those that are in chambers right now. I believe there's 6 of them. And we will take the virtual non-agenda public comment at the end of this afternoon session. So I want to make sure at least 4 of my colleagues hang up for the 6 non-agenda public comments that are actually in person and respect the time that they have waited to be here. So.
I'm going to take a picture with our guests and I'll be right back. That should be
Don't any of you
So
leave.
let's go to non-agenda public comment for those in person. And again, virtual will be taken after the afternoon session.
Thank you, Council President. Currently, 2.7 non-agenda public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on items that are not on the agenda within the subject matter of the City Council. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. Jacob Lewis, if you can please come forward to the microphone. After that, Joyce Sunyata, if you can come to the front row, as well as Bailey Murphy, allegedly Audra.
Which included the Neil David Center. Now, this Neil David Center is a resource center for homeless. Please consider that. I mean, if you look at the budget and the way we're spending money, I think it could be David Center to amend the 27 budget. I think it could be David Center to amend the 27 budget to do just that. And that is for the livelihoods of homeless folk that need that center.
The opportunity and have a robust conversation between all and make to back our lifeguards on this. Lifeguards forward with their power, and I'm so happy for that. So it's been a great day already. So thank you, everybody. I just love it. Love to all.
Bailey Murphy? Bailey Murphy, are you here? Allegedly Audra, please come forward.
Real quick, can I call a point of order about what you said about the Brown Act? That's actually not true. It was the reverse. With committees, you didn't have to put it and allow people to speak, but now you actually do. Anyway, thanks. I just thought that was interesting. Why do they do that? I need you guys to go further than you are. You guys hate Trump. Let's keep going. To understand the people above Trump, right? I'm talking these bankers. Like, I don't understand why you guys focus on Trump. He's a puppet. You guys realize that, right? Every president is. They all pick them. It's not by chance that these things happen. But I think that you guys need to be concerned about all of these, the ones above, like I'm talking Rockefellers, Rothschilds, JP Morgan, all of these banking entities that you guys engage in, and we're giving all our data to them. And this is, I'm talking in the echelons of the Epstein CIA Mossad operation that you guys should be concerned about. Because these people are taking data of our children and they do very nefarious things to children. I'm sure you guys don't want to look into the Epstein files, but it's pretty disturbing. And rituals on children. It's like, and we're giving them our data through the surveillance. And so it's like you guys concentrate on Trump, but I don't understand why you can't go further than that, especially those of you that have children. Because I'm talking they eat the intestines of babies when it has curdled breast milk in it and put it on bagels.
Your time has concluded. Paul Kruger? I don't see Paul Kruger here. Lori Saldana, if you can please come forward. Lori Saldana? Hold on.
I will just say regarding the Brown Act, there is the law, and then there is what makes sense and what's right. And if you're dealing with millions of dollars in investments and not giving us reports, it's not really right. You know yesterday, I've seen this before, but our stormwater system being overwhelmed. I call that the Bellagio effect because the stormwater department welded those in place to prevent them from rising up